Turn to your neighbor and say, go get me some more food. Yeah, man. All right, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. You didn't bring your cell phone with you, did you? My cell phone, man. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm really excited that we had so many great people turn out, and you've just given us a tremendous opportunity to love on you. So thank you. Thank you for being here. So I want to share some good stuff with you tonight. How many of you guys, this is your first workshop that you've ever been to in our office? Raise your hand. Well, some of you guys are guests, so let's do this. If you're a guest, raise your hand. Okay. Give the guests a round of applause. All right. All right. And how many of you guys have been to a handful of workshops? Raise your hand. Well, when I say handful, I mean like 2, 3, 4, because the majority of you have been to like 20, 30, 50, 100. Raise your hand if you've been to like 30, 50, or 80 or workshops. Yes. Okay. So what you're quickly going to realize here is that we do this every month, and people keep coming to the workshops because you always learn something. And when you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start. You remember that, don't you? It's all coming back to us now. So welcome, whether it's your first or your 100th. Our job is to make sure that we continue to have constant, never-ending improvement. Right or right? Turn to your neighbor and say, the best is yet to come. Especially in 2019. Okay, that part, yeah, that part I wasn't going to have you repeat. But you did it anyway. You're on the ball. You're ready. Are you coming next month? Are you coming to the True Cellular Detox class? Yes. Okay, she's coming. So for those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about, our little private conversation over here, and if you're having any sort of issues like brain fog, fatigue, weight loss resistance, depression, a lot of this could be related to toxicity. Your cells become toxic cesspools. Your body becomes a toxic cesspool over time, and the only way to determine where that's coming from is with research and proper systems to help you diagnose that. So I'm going to, what's that? Wrong year? Oh, okay. Well, she's going to be here anyway, so you may want to follow along. So we'll be here. It'll be 2019, I promise. And so this is going to be a smaller. I mean, there's a lot of people here tonight, but this is going to be a smaller people class, maybe about 30 people at the most. But I want to encourage you to do this. So you start your new year off on the right track. You want your body to be clean. You want it to be clear. You want it to be a lean, mean, healthy machine, right? All right. And the way that we do this is to make sure that we have all of our cell phones in the silent mode. Do we all have all of our cell phones in the silent mode? That's part of our strategy for excellence this year. Yes or yes? Yes. Okay. Not calling anybody's names out. I know. But we've had other problems to tackle here, like pigging out. Pigging out? Is that a problem? I don't know. That was a problem for me on Thanksgiving. How many of you guys had the same problem that I did on Thanksgiving? Say aye. Yeah, it was. We're still recovering. We're still trying to get our energy back. But, you know, we got a lot of parties coming up. We've got holiday parties. We've got family gatherings. And a lot of this we haven't even yet encountered yet. But we know what happens every year. More and more food. And it's hard to say no, it's hard not to do it, it's hard not to participate, and it's hard for it not to affect you and I. So we've got some simple strategies to help us side skirt the pigging out problem. One of them is to put your carbs last. Not first, but last. So how do we do that? You have all your fiber first. Load up on the salads, the greens, the veggies, the protein. So when you walk into a house and you see potato casserole, sweet potato casserole, and rice, and baked potatoes, and pasta, and macaroni and cheese, and bread, and rice, and all these things, right? You're like, that's the good stuff. That's the stuff we want, yeah? We can't wait to sink our teeth into that. But the problem is that comes with big consequences that we wear around our waist when we wake up the next day. We like the way it tastes, but we don't like the way we feel or look as a consequence. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So how do we minimize the damage? How do we do damage control with that? Again, make sure you fill up on the stuff that's not going to cause an insulin response. All those carbs make your sugar go up, make insulin go up, and takes you out of fat burning and puts it in fat storing. And that's why you wake up feeling the way you do and looking the way you do. So have a strategy. When you sit down at the table, wherever you're going to go, if you're not bringing your own food and not making your own dishes or not getting full before you go there, try to have some more salad. Load up. You know, when you take that plate, dump as many veggies and as much salad, fill up on that as much as you can. And then when you're really, really full, you'll probably minimize your portion of all the other stuff that you were eyeing before that you know is not so good for you. Does that make sense? Okay, try it. It works. Another tip, host your own party. If you know that you're going to be completely out of control in somebody else's environment, create your own. Or you can bring your own dishes, right? So I do that sometimes when we go to church. We know that, so Baptists are known to not eat the healthiest of foods. And I'm known to actually do the opposite. So sometimes when I go to these fellowship meetings, I'll bring my own food. It's the only way I could stay safe and not hurt myself. Eat before you go. You can have a shake. You could fill up on a shake, like the Mediclear shake that we just made you guys. How many of you guys tasted the Mediclear shake? It's pretty filling, isn't it? It's only 180 calories, but it's pretty filling. So these are little Jedi mind tricks that you could do before you go to a holiday party and, wind up regretting it the next day. Wear tight-fitted clothing as a sobering reminder. So this is not meant to offend anyone, of course, because I do this myself. So after Thanksgiving, I'll be honest with you guys, literally Thanksgiving, that weekend, destroyed me. I think I weighed myself. I weigh myself every day. I went up 4 pounds. No kidding, 4 pounds. So my clothes were a little tighter. My pants were tighter. And I'm sitting there, every time I sit down, it's like, man, this thing is gouging my waist. That is not cool. It does not feel good. But I don't have fat pants. I don't have anything over a size 33. I don't have my old 36s or my old 38s. I never did that. I never kept that to where I get out of control. I can still make myself comfortable with bigger clothes. And there's a reason behind that. What do you think that is? Suffer. That's right, suffer. Feel the pain as a sobering reminder that you need to get your affairs in order, okay? Have some discipline, because discipline is freedom. Discipline is what? Freedom. That's right. So, I said in my promotional video I was going to give you 3 tips to sail through the holidays and maintain your health. One of them is maintain a regular sleep schedule. When we get off our sleep schedule, everything gets thrown off balance, namely our hormones. When your hormones get out of balance, oh boy, not only are you tired, you become fatigued, your resistance goes down, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to illness, and you're gaining weight also, because all this happens because of hormonal imbalance. This one hormone in particular called cortisol, and that's what is messed up by your sleeping schedule. So you want to make sure you're very, very careful and conscious of the time that you go to bed. You guys will notice, as well as I do, if I get up every single day at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I stay up late, like on Friday night watching a movie, if I stay up an extra hour late, am I going to sleep in an extra hour? It doesn't work like that. Your body won't let you do that. So, I'm lucky if I don't have a headache the next day from sleep deprivation. I don't feel good, and then it takes me a couple of days to recover from that. Has anybody ever experienced that? Yeah. So why do we let that happen during the holidays? Well, again, it's time to give this a little bit of thought. Aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. And I can't tell you how many studies that I've come across, even recently, in the last few weeks, I consistently hear of these brain specialists and these people who specialize in brain health and body health where they come back to sleep and how unhealthy it is to have less than 7 to 8 hours of sleep on a regular basis. Some people claim to do it, they'll go 5 hours and you hear all these crazy stories. It's not healthy, guys. It's not healthy. 7 to 8 hours should be cave-like darkness. Your windows should be shut. There should be no light coming in. And it should be cool, like 72 degrees, at least 72 degrees. And if you're cold, then get yourself some extra blankets. But that's what creates a good nocturnal environment for your body to rest and heal and recover properly. That's what your body's doing when it's sleeping. Did you know that? Yeah, so that's a really important time for us, and we should give this some consideration. So, second tip and second trick may seem simple, but it's exercise. How many of you guys exercise more than once annually. Good. So, yeah, research does support that. So good for you. Give yourself a pat on the back. So here's what I want to say. How many of you guys exercise a few times a week? That's great, and I'm really proud of you for that. And what I want to say is that the holidays are a time to up your game. The holidays are a time to, not just eat more and exercise the same. If you're going to eat more, you need to what? You need to exercise more. Yeah, I mean, the exercise, the oxygenation is going to help give you energy. It's going to help maintain your resistance so you don't catch the flu. It's going to, help you keep your metabolism in working order so that you don't pack on so many pounds. Now's not the time to exercise less. Now's not the time to exercise the same amount that you always do. Now's the time to exercise more. So we should be exercising every day, every single day. Now, that may sound unreasonable to some of you guys, but it beats, putting on 5 or 10 pounds. It beats increasing your blood pressure medication or your blood sugar medication or becoming diabetic. Think about all the consequences that we deal with because of a simple lack of discipline that just exercise could be affecting us in such a positive way. And all it just comes down to is habits. How many of you guys brush your teeth in the morning? That's so encouraging. That's great. Why do we brush our teeth in the morning? Because it's a habit, right? We put on our socks, our underwear, we get dressed, right? It's a habit. Exercise is no different. It's a habit. Okay, so good habits are just as hard to break as bad ones. Once you exercise and it becomes a habit, it's not really a big deal. Doing it every day, once you start doing it, is not a big deal because it's a habit. Very good. So I'm trying to expand your mind, open up your thinking so you can do these things. And what happens is your health, the success with your health goes on autopilot. It becomes effortless when you start engaging in these things automatically because they're healthy habits. So when's the best time to exercise, by the way? In the morning. Why? Because studies show on an empty stomach is the best thing that you can do for fat burning, right? Everybody say fat burning. Raise your hand if you want to be a full-time fat burning machine. I know I do. Well, what's one of the tricks that you do to flip on the fat burning switch? On an empty stomach, first thing in the morning, get up and shake your tail feather. Do something, go for a brisk walk, ride your bike, do push-ups, sit-ups. It really doesn't matter. But it's also important to do it on an empty stomach because what studies show is that you promote hormones like testosterone and growth hormone, which promotes lean muscle building. And that's going to help release the hormones that support fat burning. Did you know that? So empty stomach is really, really important. And that's what I would encourage you guys to do first thing in the morning before you put a morsel of food in your mouth. It also increases your what? Your energy, and increases your metabolism. The reason why you're tired, the reason why it's hard for you to lose weight is because your metabolism is slow. If you can raise and reset your metabolism, exercise is one of those simple things that'll flip the switch and help you do that automatically. It also strengthens your what? Immune system. So why do they call this the flu season? Because we have less sugar or more? Yeah, more sugar. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve. The sugar, all the food, and then the alcohol, sugar too. And what does all that do to your immune system? Crashes it, weakens it. And so it's not like the bacteria just jump down your throat or the viruses jump down your throat. That's not how it works. They're all inside of you right now. Strep, staph, it's all inside you right now. You guys know this, right? But when your immune system gets weak, that's when these things have a party. So what is that? So they bacteria, microorganisms, the same thing, the same nasty, disgusting buggers that make you sick. But they don't really make you sick. We're the ones that give them an opportunity to have a party. Okay, when your immune system goes weak, it's like leaving garbage out on your porch. That's when you're going to invite all the roaches, maggots, and flies. Okay, so you're inviting them to feed off of you when your resistance goes down. Does that make sense? Okay, so bacteria don't cause disease. Viruses don't cause disease. Germs don't cause disease. If they did, then resistance wouldn't be an issue. And if they did, then there wouldn't be anything that we could do to be preventing disease. If they did, there'd be nobody left alive to talk about the germs. Right? So germs don't cause disease. You know that somebody could sneeze on you, and somebody could sneeze on the person next to you. They get sick, and you don't. Why? Yeah, same germs jump down you, went down your windpipe. So same thing. Why does one person sick and another doesn't? Right? It's not the seed, it's the soil. It's not the seed, it's the soil. Your body has to be ripe to receive that host and do what it allows it to do to create that. So what reduces your immune system during the holidays? Mental stress. We don't get more sleep, we get what? Less. We're anxious. We're thinking about, I wonder if that person's going to bring the blueberry muffins here on time tonight. So my wife was pretty busy today. She had to pick up the kids. She had to do all this stuff around the house. And I'm peeking out there. I'm like, I don't see any blueberry muffins. Gee, I wonder if Deborah made the fat bomb. She said she was going to make the fat bomb. She's not even here yet. I don't hear the blender going. So all this stuff is going on in my mind. And I'm like, holy smokes, I'm going to be preaching on this in 10 minutes. You got to shut that off, man. So your mind can get away from you. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? Your mind can get away from you. It doesn't take much. We call that stress. We call that anxiety. So what are we supposed to do with those thoughts? Captivate them. Okay? You're the master of your ship. So within about, I guess I would say 30 seconds, I'm saying to myself, what are you doing? You can't control any of that stuff. Just focus on what you can control and know that God's going to provide. You did everything that you could, and everything's going to be okay. So stress, if you let it run away, it will destroy your immune system, guys, and it weakens your resistance. How about thermal stress? How many of you guys have been out in the cold and you got sick or you got a sore throat right after? That happened to me last year. I slept in my trailer and it doesn't have insulation, and it was 60 degrees, it was 40 degrees. I was in Sebring. And I don't have insulation. It was 60 degrees inside my trailer when I woke up. I remember my head was freezing. I had the blanket all the way up to my head. And the next day, I had a scratchy throat. And you know what? I don't take medications. I haven't been to a doctor in 35 years. I get adjusted every week. I eat pretty good, and I exercise. So what happened to Superman, Dr. Yachter? I had some thermal stress, man. My immune system got kicked down, right? And so that's a factor. That can happen. And what about chemical stress? Sugar, what does that do to your immune system? How about toxins? Overeating, all of that taxes our body and weakens the constitution that we have. Physical stress, subluxation. What happens when you have a spine that's out of alignment? Putting pressure on the nerves that control your immune system, right? Your spleen, your thymus gland, your white blood cells. If those organs are not getting proper nerve supply, is your immune system getting stronger or weaker? Yeah? Doesn't matter how good you eat and how much you exercise. If you've got neurological interference and your nervous system is short-circuiting, your brain cannot clearly communicate and coordinate a proper immune response, you're in big trouble. So these are all factors, and then what happens? We wind up what? Sick in bed. Now we got to rest. Now we got to recover. Now we can't go to work. Now we can't put bread on the table. Now we're hurting, sick, and suffering because of what? Weak resistance. That's right. But if we would have taken preventative action, very simply, by one of the smallest little things, by doing a brisk walk every day, maybe that would have made the difference, right? And what does that do to your resistance? Makes it stronger. All of these things. There's not one magic bullet, right? There's not a magic bullet. But it's like the more of these things, I keep telling you guys, every time you come to a workshop, it's like drinking out of a fire hose, yeah? It's like drinking out of a fire hose. But every time you come to a workshop, you get one more thing. You capture one more thing. And then you look back a year and you're like, wow, I'm doing all these great things. And then you look back 5 years from now and you're like, wow, I'm doing all these things. Or 10 years, Some of you guys have been patients 10 years, almost 10 years, 20 years. And you look back and you're just like, you have a whole different lifestyle and you can't remember the last time you got sick. Raise your hand if you've seen a huge difference in implementing all of these things. Oh, just one person? That sucks. Holy yeah, I'm walking off stage, man. Okay. So thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So the expectation is like good 70% of the room, if you've been in a chiropractic care and you've been coming to the workshops, you're doing all this stuff, you're not getting sick, you're not going to the doctor. As time goes on, you're taking less medication. Everybody else is moving the opposite direction, you're going the other way, right? And so that's the idea. So just take one little thing. If you leave here tonight and you keep doing the same thing, are you going to get different results? Just do one thing. It's so easy. It's just a habit. Just one little thing. And that's my recommendation for you. So, what caused the garbage or the flies? You know, it's like, is it the garbage that causes the ants, the maggots, the roaches? You know, so what is it? Does the flies cause the garbage, or the garbage cause the flies? No, the flies cause the garbage. The flies cause the garbage. Yeah, the flies cause the garbage. So, therefore, if the flies cause the garbage, then if that's the cause, then what do we have to kill? We have to kill the flies. Yeah, so you bring a can of Raid and you just start having a spraying party. Kill all the flies, but leave the garbage there. What do you know is going to happen again? What is going to happen again if you just kill all the flies and you leave the garbage in the garbage can? What's going to happen again? And more flies. Why? Because you did not correct the cause. The right solution is to have a clean garbage can. Now, your body is not a garbage can. Your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, right? Your body is not yours. 1 Corinthians 6:20, right? We are to be good stewards of this. But everything I'm talking about defiles the temple. You know, not eating good, you know, allowing toxins into your body, not exercising, not moving. You know, movement is an absolute requirement for you to stay healthy. That's just the way God designed your body. All of these things, one by one by one, these are all constituents which are either going to keep your garbage can clean or allow the garbage to mount up. And you can either do one of two things. You can either keep taking medications to treat the effects, or you can clean up the inner terrain in your body. Start cleaning up your nutrition. Start getting more oxygen. Start detoxifying, making sure that you're getting adjustments. What is this doing? Creating a clean garbage can. You guys got that? Yeah. That's a really important analogy, because when you get the cough, sniffle, sneeze, flu, achy, feely kind of, you know, medicine that you need, and what do? We reach for the Benadryl, for the Robitussin. We open up our medicine chest. And that's the same thing as taking that can of Raid and spraying flies. Treating the symptoms, treating the effects instead of correcting the cause. Remember, what is the cause? When you wake up one day and you got a cough, sniffle, sneeze, flu, are those symptoms the cause, or are they the effect? They're the effect. So you either want to treat the effect or you want to correct the cause. Right? If you correct the cause, what do you have to do? What do you have to do? Empty the garbage can. Yeah. Yeah. Or prevent from getting there in the first place. That's a good idea, right? Okay. But in this case, if we're treating the symptoms, we're shutting off certain things that actually could be helping us. I'm going to get to that in a minute, but these things are seemingly harmless, right? They couldn't hurt us. I mean, of course, you go over to Walgreens or CVS, and it's on the shelf, so it's got to be safe. The FDA, you know, passes this stuff. But how many of you guys know of some of the ingredients that are here that have recently been found to cause strokes in women and children? It's got something called aluminum lake food coloring in there. You know, when it's green or red, the Robitussin, right? Contains aluminum, harmful synthetic toxins like petroleum, antifreeze, and ammonia. You know, I put antifreeze in my car, but I'm pretty sure it's not a good idea to put it inside me. You know, I know that, you know, we're not supposed to play with thermometers. Mother never told you don't ever play with thermometers, like, because mercury is toxic. Heavy metals, mercury, aluminum, lead, kind of the same thing. You don't want that in your body. And yet, these are the active ingredients in these cold suppressants and cough suppressants. What are some of the side effects when you put petrochemicals, heavy metals inside your body and your brain? What happens when heavy metals go into your brain? What happened to the Romans when the aqueducts were lined with lead? What happened to them? They went insane. Yeah, so what are the side effects? Memory impairment, Alzheimer's, autism, epilepsy, mental retardation, and dementia. So how many of you guys agree that it's probably a good idea to make sure that you don't have this in your medicine chest? Don't allow kids to have it, your grandchildren? Not a good idea. Okay, so one of the reasons it's not a good idea is because of the side effects. Is everybody in agreement? It's probably good if you can avoid this. But the other part of it is the fact that the symptoms are the cure. So in other words, if you've got coughing, sniffling, sneezing, fever, there actually is a reason why your body does that. It's not that it's actually a malfunction. Johns Hopkins University did a study, and they published this not too long ago. They said Sniffles, sneezes, and fever are what? They're good for you. Yeah, they clear the airways of harmful irritants and allergy-causing substances. When you've got congestion, your body's bringing all that mucus there to trap the dirt and the foreign debris and all the bacteria and stuff, and you're supposed to expectorate, get it out. When you take a decongestant, you're breaking it up and shoving it back in, right? Now, who made you? God made you. Don't you think the intelligence that actually created your body has a divine design in terms of which the intelligence in your body does things? When it's trying to heal itself, these symptoms serve a purpose. Fevers actually fight virus and bacteria. Yeah, John Hopkins said this. Fevers actually what? Fight virus. What is the mechanism by which that happens? Well, open up any physiology textbook. Go online. You'll see at 102 degrees the purposes of that fever is to immobilize bacteria. Bacteria cannot survive in elevated body temperatures. Did you know that? At 103 degrees, viruses die, right? At 104 degrees, your body makes something called interferon, interleukin, which, if you work in a hospital, you know this. They give this to people with AIDS and cancer because it's a powerful immune system booster, which is what your body is trying to create if you only let the fever run its course. But if you take fever-reducing medication, what are you doing to those benefits? What are you doing to the healing process? Stopping it dead in its tracks, right? So that's what we've been brainwashed to believe from watching enough drug commercials. We consume half of all the world's drugs, and we're only 5% of the world's population. In this country, we're being taught by pharmaceutical companies of what to do as far as our health decisions. Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah, so this is how it affects us, and it affects your family. For those of you guys who are sitting here in workshop after workshop, not all your family members are here. Not all your friends are here, and they're out there hurting themselves. And this is the reason why people run into health problems, because they fight the body's innate design and stopping it from doing what's supposed to be done. Anytime my kids ever had a fever, did I ever try to stop that? No, I've known this. I studied the physiology when I was in school. And I knew this. When I was going to have kids, I was going to let it run its course. So I have 3 boys, and I have the same, childhood issues that all the other parents have. But I work with the body instead of against it. I don't try to control or manipulate different things that happen in the body, because otherwise there are repercussions. Anytime my kids ever had a fever, I bundled them up, and all I did was adjust them and kept them hydrated. And the fever would go up, and lo and behold, 12 to 24 hours, every single time, what would happen? Come right back down. And that was it. They never missed a day of school. They never had any over-the-counter medications or prescription medications or antibiotics. They were not even vaccinated. None of them. And they had the same type of symptoms that a lot of other kids have. But we did things different. Now, what happens when parents don't know that and they do other things? Bringing a fever down stops the healing process, right? So you can eliminate the symptoms and be fooled into thinking you're healthy. But is the absence of symptoms indicating the presence of health?
No.
No. Everybody in here knows people who get diagnosed with cancer who feel great, up until the diagnosis. Everybody in this room knows people who have heart attacks and keeled over, and 10 minutes before never had a symptom or a pain in their life. You and I both know the absence of symptoms is not the indication of health. Who taught us that? Drug companies, doctors. That's the system of healthcare that they have. There's no symptoms, nothing they can do for you, right? They'll send you out of their office. Goodbye. But if you do have symptoms, we've got something to sell you. Pain medication, antibiotic, anti-inflammatory. Does that correct the cause, the source, and the root? No. And if you don't do that, how long is that going to last before you have a problem that comes back again? Wow, what a great business model. Holy smokes! Make you a customer for life, from cradle to grave. Oh, that Dr. Yachter, man, he's over the top. Come on. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I've been doing this a long time. For lack of knowledge, people perish. You just want to believe doctors and drug companies and not do your own research? I love you just the same. But that's like sheep to the slaughter, I'm not saying there's a time and a place to not go to the doctor and God forbid, have to go to the hospital, have a medication. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is Don't just take anybody's word for face value anymore. The days of your highly respected medical physician who does house calls and is, oh, they're just like the best of the best. Like everybody loves their doctor, like they're the top, the cream of the crop of everything, right? Those days are gone. We don't have that anymore, guys. It's our healthcare system that's broken, and you're on your own. You are on your own. You cannot trust your doctor, even though they may have your best interest in mind. They're part of a system today that's damaging, that's causing sickness, it's causing more cases of cancer, more heart attacks, all types of problems, because we're treating effects instead of correcting causes, lifestyle corrections. Is that making sense? All right, I'm done with my rant. Let's keep going. So another one of these things would be the flu. Like the flu shots, where was I? Just, I don't know where I was, driving by. It was a couple days ago. I just saw this, like, get your flu shot, not the flu. That's what I saw. Yeah, I was driving through Clewiston last week. A couple days ago, I was driving through Clewiston on the way to Sebring. It said, get your flu shot, not the flu. I'm like, man, like how gullible people can really be to believe that, I had a patient who never had a flu shot, and his wife gets a flu shot every single year, and she just got diagnosed with cancer for the 5th time. And she talked him into getting the flu shot. And he never had a flu shot, never wanted one, right? And he got the flu shot, and what do you think happened to him? He got the friggin' flu! Come on! And people are standing in line for flu shots. And now they're giving away flu shots. Why are they giving away flu shots? Do you think they would be giving away flu shots if there wasn't money for CVS to do that or Target to do that? They're getting subsidized to make people sick. Don't you see how this works? This is the matrix that we live in. So what bothers me is that the CDC, if you do the research on it, CDC shows just about no effectiveness of the flu shot. It's like 20% success rate. Somebody just told me because they had trouble, they wanted to fire the guy because he wouldn't get a flu shot. So I said, just fill out a religious exemption form. Go down to HRS. He's like, no. He's like, I want them to know the truth. He's like, I did my research. The CDC shows that it's hardly more effective than a coin toss. And he presented that information. I'm like thinking to myself, well, good luck with that. I don't think they're going to go for that. But, Chief Vaccine Control Officer, US FDA, he said there is no evidence that any flu vaccine thus far developed is effective in preventing or mitigating any attack of the flu. Producers of these vaccines know that they're worthless, but they go on selling them anyway. Why do they go on selling them? Big money makers, yeah. Tell your friends, if you care about people, just tell them to stop. Just don't do that, The problem is there's billions and billions of dollars of advertising, and it's really hard to overcome that. But you can make a difference one person at a time if you open your mouth. If you open your mouth. The worst thing in the world is to know something that could save somebody's life and prevent them from getting sick, and just keep your mouth shut. Just be bold. Step out in boldness, because you care. Whatever they decide to do is up to them, but say something. You know the truth. I've had a couple of nurses that work, that are under my care, and they told me, they're like, what am I supposed to do at work? It's mandatory that I take a flu shot. And I said, it's not. It's your constitutional right. It's just like your kids, it's your constitutional right to not have them immunized. It's your constitutional right here. Florida is one of the states that you can have a religious exemption. She's like, well, they're going to make me wear a mask. Like, wear the mask, So that's what I wanted you guys to see this. You can go on Facebook, you go online and find this. They're starting these groups that are speaking out about mandatory vaccines. Hospital workers, healthcare workers that are being fired. And this was the end result of a suit that they won, $300,000. 7 healthcare workers, they got their jobs back, they were forced to be reinstated, and they got settlement for lost time and wages, and they found it unconstitutional for what they did. So don't be bullied, guys. Stand up for your rights. They have no right to put their needles or their cocktail of toxins inside of your body. So stand up for that and tell people to do that. All right, good. Thank goodness, man. I'm getting tired. I'm getting long-winded here. All right, Deborah, it's time for our raffle. Woohoo! Woohoo! All right. How many people are here tonight, Deborah?
56.
Oh, well, I want to apologize. apologize to 6 people because we only have 50 poinsettias. So you guys will have to fight it out. So I wanted to say that everybody's a winner, and we wanted to make sure that everybody left with something tonight. So we got all these poinsettias. Those poinsettias are for you guys, so please make sure that you take one on the way out. Everybody can use a poinsettia. Don't eat them. Just water them, and they'll make a nice Christmas gift. And when you see that poinsettia in your house, I want you to think of myself and my staff and how much we love you guys and appreciate you. All right? And we mean that. And then we got if you guys didn't see this, it's 2 bodybuilders here. So this is our grand prize. We're going to draw for this after we draw for a $50 gift card, okay? So we're going to do the runner-up. Yep, so we got a $50 gift card. And, all right, so get your tickets ready here. Okay, you guys ready? So it is 980-1819, and that is Herman! Come on down! Merry Christmas! All right. I thought they had half the tickets, so I guess not. That's,
yeah,
they do. Do you guys have your tickets?
We had a lot of tickets to run through.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not looking. This is for the big one. All right, here we go. Who here made room in their house for a new TV? I was wondering, who cleared out some space for that? All right.
My glasses.
Okay, I might need some glasses here. So I don't know what that last initial is. Okay. All right. This is fun. There's all the suspense. I know who it is. And I'm really happy that it's you. Are you ready? All right, the first letter of the person's name starts with a C. All right, we'll just say, okay. Chris Pell. Come on. It's got your name on it. All right. I just cut to the chase. All right, we're not going to have you carry that out. No, we'll get to that later. Chris, you told me you were making room for that. Yes, you did. Yeah, you claimed it. She did. Joy was the one who spoke it into existence. All right. Thank you, guys. Everybody, stand to your feet and turn and face the person on your right and put your hands on their shoulders and give them a massage. Give them a massage. Say Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. All right. Karate chop. All right, and let's do the other side. To your other neighbor. Love your other neighbor. Massage. Good, good, good. All right. Karate chop. Karate chiropractic. Good. All right, guys, give yourselves a round of applause. All right, so who here saw the movie Uncle Drew? Uncle Drew. All right, so these are, so let me just set the stage for you here. So these guys are, these are all dressed up. Did you ever see the Facebook video of the old man who like beats everybody on the basketball court at their game? Like he looks like he's an old man, he's all dressed up. And it's one of the NBA players. And then they made a movie out of it. There were so many hits on Facebook because it was a Pepsi commercial or a Pepsi ad or something like that. So they actually made a movie out of this thing. And they put Shaquille O'Neal in there. A couple of those, there's like 4 or 5 of these guys. They're like real NBA players, but they dressed them up like 3 hours worth of makeup on them, so they look really old. And so, at any rate, I'm not going to tell you the whole movie, but I want to set the stage for this clip because it's hilarious. So at any rate, the young guy is trying to get a basketball. He lost. He's down and out on his luck. All his basketball players ran out on him, and he's got no team. And he's trying to win this tournament. It's like $100,000 if you win it. So he's trying to put a team together, and he stumbles upon this guy, Uncle Drew, this old man who's supposed to be a legend, but he's an old man. But he sees the guy play in the yard, and he's like, "Hey man, you gotta help me. You're amazing. You're a legend. You're a legend." He's like, "I'll do it, but I get to pick my own players." So when you see this, you'll see he's going to round up all the old players, and these are all old-time basketball players, and they look old, and they're all doing different things. And one of them is a preacher. So this is where we're going to come in on this. So they're putting the team together, right? They're putting the team together, and they're going around. And at any rate, that's all I'm going to say. So.
Amen. Amen. We're gathered here today to bear witness to the anointing, the christening, the blessing of this young working soul. And it is with the purity of heart we pray that he will one day grow and drive the paint and crash the boards of moral righteousness. Carry the rest on the new beginning goal instead.
Preacher,
He's gonna duck a baby. One for the money. Two for the show. Three to get it.
what are you doing with that baby, man? You can't baptize a baby. You cannot do that. You cannot. Sit down. Come on, I got this. That is a baby, okay? You christen a baby, right? You hold the baby, right? Maybe splash a little water on his face. He's gonna cry a little bit, but no big deal. You don't dunk a baby in a baptismal pool. What type of parents are y'all to let this really large man pick your baby? He did like this. He put your baby behind his back. You let this man Steph Curry your baby? That's insane.
Maybe the Mitch is right.
Yeah. Can we have a baby back?
Is there something I can help you with, son?
Dax, give it a break. No, sit down. I'm not sitting down, Drew. I'm taking a stand. All right. Thank you. All right, I want you.
Where you from, son?
I'll tell you where I'm from. I'm from New York City, okay?
Look here, Tiny Tim. Took me almost an hour to fill up that pool. Somebody's getting baptized. You understand?
God, Daddy, tell her. You can't talk to me like that.
You're all baptized him. Bring him on now.
Him like a fat donut.
Young preacher.
What are you doing, man?
That's my boy, Drew. Drew, you gotta make him take one for the team.
For Jesus. For the team, yo, for the team.
Just like back in the day when we used to hoop, you can still throw the alley-oop. Thank you for throwing me this lost soul.
All right. So, what's the moral of the story? Sometimes you got to take one for the team, right? All right, we are trying to manage our stress here, so I thought that was appropriate. Hope nobody's offended. That's not how we do it at our church, but yes, but stress again. Stress it's no joke. You know, it affects us, and if you don't actually put some time into trying to mitigate and balance out your life, it does get out of control. So. Anyway, we talked about how it decreases your immune function, fatigue, depression, and weight gain. One of the things that I want to make a point of is that in our country, in our world, what most people do is, in a case where they don't know what else to do, they will go to a doctor, and if a doctor sees that a person has any sort of depression, what's one of the most common things that they'll prescribe? It's antidepressants, yeah. Now, there's been a huge wave of increase of prescriptions of antidepressants in the last 20, 30, 40 years. And you guys can name all of the of the brand name drugs, Paxil, Prozac, Effexor, things like that. And it's 1 out of 4 women right now, especially between the ages of 40 and 59. If you can imagine, 11% of all Americans over the age of 12. And so children are being prescribed these things. Now again, as I said before, sometimes there's a time and a place where things are so out of control and you're, you know, very, very rarely have I really met somebody who has tried everything to get their anxiety or their depression under control. You know, like eating good, like exercising, like going to church and doing all these things, right? Like trying to correct the cause of the problem. Very, very rare. Most people, knee-jerk response, you go to the doctor and what? You just take a drug. The problem is these things are very, very powerful. And once you get on them, what happens after that? It's hard to get off. The longer you're on them, the harder it is to get off. That's why there's a 400% increase in the number of people that are taking antidepressants in the last 20 years. Now, for most people, they're not able to step back and look at their life in terms of who they are and why they, you know, may feel what they feel and why they're deciding to do what they do. They just don't. It's a myopic type of thing where there's helplessness and I just tell me what to do. I need the quick fix. But my pastor I heard something a long time ago. He said, he called it the joy model. He said, you know, when you leave the parking lot, there's going to be traffic. You know, we got the Christmas lights going on. How many of you guys have been to the Christmas lights down in Plantation Baptist? You haven't been there? How many lights are there? Just like 1 million lights. Yeah, so if you haven't been there, it's a spectacle. You really should go. Yeah, so it's 6 to 10 o'clock. Joan, you can stand up and show them your shirt. Christmas in the Acres. So yeah, I didn't intend on plugging, but while I'm on the subject, it's a madhouse with the parking because there are so many people that come through there. And so what we were talking about is, hey, let's use the joy model. It's Jesus, others, you. Jesus comes first, others second, and who comes last? You. And I was trying to, you know, come up with this thing visually, because I'm a visual type of person, of what does that look like in terms of helping you manage stress in your life, anxiety, things you can control versus things you can't. Because I know that the source of my peace comes from God. And I know that the Bible says in his presence is fullness of joy. And so how do I illustrate that? Well, there's a little bit of a triangle there, and you see God is on top, and that little thing there is your purpose. What is your purpose in life? It's to serve God by serving other people. Everybody. You may not know that, you may not believe that, but the truth is the truth. You know, you were created by God. You belong to Him, and it's like, you know, your mom or your dad. You know, you just like you're the daughter, you're the son. You can't undo that. So you belong to God. We all belong to God, and so He's got a purpose and a plan for each of our lives. And some of us understand that and know that and follow that, and that's our daily walk, and some of us don't. And that can mean the difference between joy and depression. That can mean the difference between peace and anxiety. But one of the ways I found myself simply understanding this was looking at, you know, you look at yourself and then you look at others, and we tend to play the blame game. You're like, okay, so there's no blueberry muffins coming. You know, I'm going to have to go home and tell my wife I'm really disappointed if those things didn't come. You know, like, what good is that going to do? You know, it's just, can I control what somebody else does? Can I control what somebody else says? Can I control how somebody else feels? No, these things are completely out of control. But what I can control is what? Where you see where it says you? What's under you? Your thoughts. Can you control your emotions? Your habits, your actions? Yes. And if those are the things that you can control, wouldn't it make sense to just focus on what you can control and instead of focusing on what you can't? When we start playing the blame game, we're basically doing something that's not productive. We were talking about that in Sunday school yesterday. Alice. Hi there. We can laugh about our little joke later. So we were talking in Sunday school yesterday. So what are some of the causes for like disappointment or this and that or depression? And like, you know, they were giving all these answers, and the bottom line is that it's unproductive. You know, you could focus on what other people say or what other people do, But in the end, what difference is it going to make? You can go and tell them or you don't go and tell them. Doesn't matter. Maybe you feel better about it. You could focus on that. But what's happened in the past is dead and gone. You can't change that. What you can change is how you feel. What you can't change is how you think. What you can change is how you act in your relationship to your Creator. Because every single one of you has a purpose. And so if I'm sitting there and I'm adjusting and I'm thinking about blueberry muffins not being here on time, or fat bombs, or shakes, I don't hear the blender, I don't have control over any of that stuff, right? What do I have control of? The gift that God gave me to lay hands on people and remove interference so that they could be all that He created them to be. That is my purpose in life. That's why I get up in the morning. That's why I pray in the morning. Because it's not my life, it's His. It's not my purpose, it's His. And it's for you. It's for you. It's not for me, it's for you. And you know what? I get joy out of that. The more I give, the more I get. Yeah. So it's interesting because 2 Corinthians 9:8 says, and God is able to make all grace abound toward you. All grace abound toward you. Always having sufficiency in all things. That means, is there ever any lack in our lives? Yeah, there is a lack in our lives. You know when? When we stop giving. When we stop making ourselves available to be given through. It's because we all have a ministry. We all have a purpose in life. Right? And when we stop that, when we short circuit that, we become stagnant like the Dead Sea. But all of a sudden, if we have a good work that needs to be done for Him, right? He's able to make all grace abound towards us, having all sufficiency in all things that may abound to every good work. So there's nothing that God can't provide in your life. But the thing is that everything He provides, you may want it for you, but if we just simply change our mindset to His will being done instead of ours, then He meets all of our sufficiency. Because in the end, He's the one that's glorified, and it's for Him. But the ironic thing is that we're blessed with peace and fullness of joy. Yeah. So in the absence of that, there's a good scenario for anxiety or depression, right? But in the presence, there's fullness of joy. Yeah. And the more that you learn about that, the more that you study that, the more that you pursue that, you realize that that really is the truth. That really is the truth. We're all brothers and sisters, in the aspect that I was reading, not Elon Musk, who's the other guy? Branson. What's that guy's name? That British billionaire, Richard Branson. So I was reading yesterday about his flights that will be available next year into space. For a mere $250,000, you get to go into space for about 7 or 15 minutes, or a 20-minute ride, or something like that. Yeah. Okay, so it's a really interesting article because here's their mission statement. They want to give. They want people to go up there, like astronauts. They'll all say the same thing. Anybody who's ever gone into space, it's just 50 miles up. It's like you just get into the blackest space, you unbuckle yourself, and you get to float around, and then that's it. And they fold up the wings, and you're heading back. But they want you to see Earth from up there, and they want you to see how small Earth is, and they want you to see that we're all on this Earth, on this planet together. And they're trying to create unity and goodness so that people can see that we're all in this thing together. You see? And that's what their mission statement is. That's what's driving their whole purpose with that. I didn't need Richard Branson to tell me that. I have the Word of God. So what I want you guys to know is that this is the truth. And the truth is the truth, whether you're aware of it or not. But the sooner that you submit and humble yourself and just chill out and relax, like I did, I had my own agenda for the longest time. And then I just got tired of banging my head against the wall. And I said, you know what? I just want more peace in my life. And that's when I had to surrender my will for His. Yeah,
You know what they say, Doc?
What's that?
You make plans and God laughs.
That's right. My grandmother used to say that. My bubby used to say that. So that is true. So just breathe. Everybody take a deep breath. Breathe. Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's a done deal. Whatever's going to happen, that's going to happen. Yeah, we make plans, God laughs. Whatever's going to happen, He's already got a plan for your life. And it's, you know what, it's all good. You know, and the sooner that you get your life in alignment with His intention, you're going to be in good shape. Yeah. So just breathe. You know, take some time for you. Solitude, gratitude, just 10 minutes alone without distractions. Get away from the whirlwind of the day. No, if you guys don't know this, people were vacuuming in my house and doing all kinds of stuff, and I came home this morning, and my wife's like, "Are you gonna be able to take your nap?" Because I take a nap like every day for 15 minutes. I take a nap. I get off. You know, many of you guys know I don't have the best back. Kind of ironic, isn't it? So I like to get off my feet for a little while and just recharge my brain. So I have these headphones, and I play like ocean music and different acoustic vibrations and stuff like that. So I cranked that thing up. I didn't hear the vacuum cleaner, and I took my nap today. And so that's what I'm talking about. You need to unplug, and if you can do that, especially during the holidays, it'll help recharge you. Learn to say what? No. Learn to say what? No. Learn to say what? No. It feels good, doesn't it?
Yes.
Take a walk, get some fresh air, listen to soothing music, get a massage. You already had one, right? And get extra adjustments. Yeah. And the reason why is because your nervous system is what's processing all the stress. Everything you think about, smell, taste, touch, it's all being processed by your nervous system. And you know what? When you're stressed out and when you're anxious, the muscles don't get looser, they get what? Tighter. And the muscles move the bones. And so you need extra adjustments during the holidays. It's not the time to skip adjustments, it's time to get extra adjustments. And that, by the way, helps to keep your immune system stronger. Plan ahead. Decide to spend how much money and stick to a budget. Yeah. No credit cards. Try to use cash only. You know, budget. If you don't have a budget, that is a good recipe for stress, guys. That's a good recipe for stress. Remember, it's the season for giving, right? You know, we want to give, we want to give, we want to give. We don't want to have in the back of our minds, oh, I can only give so much. Remember, God is able to make all grace abound towards you, right? So just define that for yourself so you can let it go and just give. And just relax. Relax. Keep breathing. You know, plan ahead. Think outside the box. Donate to a charity in somebody's name. You don't have to give a gift. You can make gifts at home. Remember, it's not how much you spend. It's not what you give. It's what? It's the thought. It's the intention behind it. Or a family gift exchange. We're going to lunch on Friday. We're having our team holiday party, and we drew names. So it's not like, you know, Maria has to buy gifts for everybody. Well, she's the newest here, so she does have to do that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So no, we all just buy. There's like one gift exchange per person. That's it. So keep it simple. You don't have to make yourself crazy. All right, so let's finish up with just some couple of other recommendations. Nutritionally speaking, we talked about filling up on the good stuff before you go out. If you go into a party, you want to fill up on a shake. The Mediclear, many of you guys had. What's the thing with the Mediclear? It's very, very simple. It's a multivitamin spectrum detoxification, low level liver detox in there every single day. Only 5 grams of sugar, which is really, really good. It doesn't raise your blood sugar. It won't take you out of fat burning. A couple of other new supplements that we just started. We're just starting to roll out now, and I am all over this myself, to be honest with you guys, because I asked you before who wants to be a full-time fat burner, and nobody said no. I know for myself, I'm always trying to keep my body in fat burning, eating butter and coconut oil and the fat bomb some of you guys had. So this particular supplement right here is to help your body, instead of using carbohydrates, start helping it to use ketones. And so in particular, this is called Ultraplex Keto. So it's a little, a mix. You put it in water, it's powder form, and it's got beta hydroxybutyrate and medium chain triglycerides, which is to help your body use fat as a fuel, as a source fuel, instead of carbohydrates. And that's what helps to keep you in fat burning. So this is one of those things, especially during the holiday, it could help you from putting on extra pounds. Other than that, this is something I'm going to be using every day. I'm going to be using this before I work out, and I'm going to be taking this supplement every day myself, because this is what helps to promote and support fat burning. Provides carbohydrate-free fuel for muscle and brain, and it supports energy, performance, and focus. Lots of studies done on this. Some of you guys are on a ketogenic diet right now. This would 100% support it. Ultraplex Calm is a mix of botanicals that help to support GABA production in your body. GABA is that neurotransmitter that helps to relax you, right? And it also has those botanicals in there to help you fall asleep. So as far as nerves, calming down, stress management, help you sleep better, this has all the botanicals in there that will do that. And also, it affects muscles and joints. So if you're having muscle and joint pain, this is something that would support that also. And last but not least, immune boost. So this is really interesting. There's green tea extract in there, and L-theanine, elderberry. There's a number of different constituents in there where they've looked at all the studies over the years, and they found that these three in particular work together to help support the immune system and increase T lymphocyte production. And so on different levels, I'm not going to get too technical, but basically what the outcomes of the studies show is it helps to promote healthy immune function. It helps to offset symptoms that you might be having that come on when your immune system is low. Remember, we said we're not actually treating the symptoms, but you're doing all the right things to keep your body strong. But if you do have these symptoms, this is something natural that you can take that will help your body recover as far as the immune system goes faster. So this was the results of a double-blind study, placebo-controlled study they did, and they found the decrease of 32% of the number of people having cold and flu symptoms. It decreased 36% of the number of symptom days, decreased 58% of the need for medical treatment due to cold and flu symptoms, and enhanced by 28% the innate immune function. So double-blind controlled study. It's substantial. So these are things, again, that are timely for the holiday season. That's why we put these together. And if you get all three together tonight, it's 15% off. The workshops are the only time that we have sales on the supplements, so there's limited supply. Anything else off the shelf there would be 10% off, but there are limited quantities. But as far as the supplement suite, it's those three for 15% off. The other thing that's really important for keeping your immune system strong is your brainstem. There's one bone in the top part of your neck right there that wraps around the brainstem. And that bone is a little 2-ounce bone, and it holds up your skull, 15 pounds. Remember in Greek mythology, this guy called Atlas held up the world? So what do you think that bone is called? Atlas. Yeah. See, so that little 2-ounce bone, and there's no disc above and there's no disc below. It's held together only by ligaments. And remember, when you're a child learning to walk and your head's going like this, think of the thousands of falls that kids have that leave ligament damage there, and the bone shifts out of alignment, putting pressure in the brainstem. And it causes problems. Well, what kind of problems? I mean, think of the car accidents, football, sports injuries, all these things. Causes that bone to shift out of normal position. If that bone shifts out of normal position, there's a couple of things that we see. We may see somebody's head tilt, may see their shoulder up like that. They could form a scoliosis because as the twig is bent, so grows the tree, right? There could be muscle spasm, there's soreness, tenderness. Sometimes there's no symptoms at all. But what happens over time, though, is if that bone shifts out of alignment and it pushes into the brainstem, neurologically, there's impairment. What does the brainstem control? Does anybody know? Can anybody tell me? Does anybody know what the brainstem controls? Everything? Yeah. And so in particular, like what I see clinically, when somebody has a subluxation, that bone shifts out of alignment there, that's what controls the blood pressure, the breathing, the immune system, sleep, balance, so sometimes anxiety. So when people come in and they've got these symptoms, I don't treat the symptoms, but I look for the cause. So I look at the spine like a circuit breaker, and I'm like, okay, well, this could be the area, right? So we go in there and we check that. And what percentage of the time, if somebody comes in with a blood pressure problem or dizziness or balance or frequent colds, do you think I find a problem up there? What percentage of the time? 100%, yeah. Because it's like blowing the fuse. You guys remember Christopher Reeves? How many of you guys remember Christopher Reeves, right? He flipped off the horse. In which bone did he break? The atlas bone. And as a result of that, what happened to him? He became paralyzed. And everybody knows he was paralyzed, but do you remember, it wasn't just paralysis of his muscles. What else went down? His organs. Remember when he was giving interviews, what did he need to breathe? Yeah. What was keeping his heart beating? Pacemaker, yeah. And what was he chronically suffering from? Upper respiratory infections. His immune system was so weak because of the permanent pressure on his brainstem that eventually, what happened? He died. He didn't die from his paralysis. He died from chronic upper respiratory infections. He died from a weak immune system. He died from a permanent subluxation that was not correctable, basically from that trauma. Because nobody could get the pressure off his brainstem. It was permanent. That's what killed him. Now, this is the type of thing that I see in children, and this is the type of thing that I see in adults, except it's not that extreme from a trauma. It's a minor misalignment. And we know from Gray's Anatomy, these are the two areas. It's the upper part of the neck and the middle part of the back that control your immune system. So one of the things that we look for when we take an x-ray on a person is the curve in the neck. Why? The picture on the left shows all the vertebrae and the spinal cord there. And that's a normal neck. When you have a curve in the neck, the spinal cord is loose and relaxed. When the neck goes straight, what does it do to the spinal cord? Stretches it, yeah. And what happens is it sucks the brainstem down into the bony canal. Right there in that picture, the upper part of that, you see a little triangle? That's the brainstem. It's getting tractioned down into the bony canal because that person lost the curve in their neck. How many of you guys know people who sit on the phone or the computer, iPad, games all day long? What is that doing to the neck? What's it doing to the brainstem? What's it doing to their immune system? How many of you guys know people who have had car accidents? What does a car accident do? It takes your neck from normal and it puts it to abnormal. And it never goes back. If you hit a pothole with a wheel on your car and you knock it out of alignment, does the wheel ever go back into alignment by itself? No. You can keep driving your car, you're going to wear that tire down and you're going to have a blowout. Works the same way with your spine, guys. People don't know that. So people come in our office, 40, 50, 60 years old, they've been walking around with this for decades, not knowing where to go. They're going to all these doctors and taking drugs and not ever correcting the cause, the source of the problem. And this is one of the things that will destroy your immune system. So the third thing, I told you I was going to give you 3 things, right? How many things? 3. 3 things to help you sail through the holidays without losing your health. And the third one is what? Get your flu adjustment. Don't get a flu shot. Get a flu adjustment. Where's the flu adjustment? Right here and right here. Because those are the 2 parts of the body that studies show boost your immune system. Significantly strengthen your immune system. There was a study that came out in 1990, and I was in my first quarter of chiropractic school. And it was pretty cool because they did it on AIDS patients. And they had a control group, and they had a placebo group. And the control group, where they actually gave the AIDS patients the adjustments, what happened to their primary white blood cell component, the CD4 count? It went up by 48%. And where's the only place that they adjusted them? At the atlas, on the brainstem. That's all they did. So when I graduated, I went over to the AIDS clinic down in downtown Fort Lauderdale. I did the same exact thing. And what do you think I saw? People, all their white blood cells were going up. They were able to get off their AZT. Many of them got off their AIDS medication. Some of them, they got to the point where there was no detectable viral load in their body. And I donated my time there. I saw this over the course of the year. So this is a real study, guys, and you're benefiting from this. If you're under chiropractic care, every time I lay my hands on you, we're maximizing the white blood cell count. And that's why your immune system is getting stronger and you're getting sicker less often with every year that you're doing maintenance care. You got that? And then, so the question is, what should you do? The next time you're sick with a cough, sniffle, sneeze, flu, my first question is, are those symptoms bad or are they good? Are the symptoms there to harm you or are they there to heal you? Heal you, okay. So first of all, to not be scared from the symptoms, but most importantly, how do you answer this question? What's the next time you do? When you get a cough, sniffle, sneeze, flu, and you pick up the phone, you say, I'm sick as a dog, I can't come in. Get your butt in here and get your power turned on. That's right. That's what I do for my kids. That's what I do for our staff. That's what I do for many of you, because you sat through so many workshops. You know that you're not going to go to your doctor and get an antibiotic, which is going to take away your symptoms and leave your immune system weaker than if you did nothing. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to get a reinfection. You know that doesn't work anymore. You get your flu adjustment. Not that I'm treating your symptoms, but we're making your body stronger so that the bacteria and viruses have nothing to feast on any longer. Makes sense, right? Yes, this is the chiropractic lifestyle. Get your atlas adjusted. Get your what? Get your atlas adjusted, yeah. Canadian Memorial University study. Here's the mid-back thing that I was talking about. How many of you guys, I mentioned earlier, Proleukin. This is what they give to people in hospitals with cancer and AIDS. So it's Chiron Pharmaceutical Company. They make this. It's a synthetic form of interleukin. Interleukin is what your body makes. It's a powerful immune system booster. So they make this pharmaceutically, right? And they give it to people who need to heal up with cancer, AIDS, like I said. Did you know that your body makes this? Automatically when you're fighting something off, especially when you have a fever at 104 degrees, right? If you get adjusted, what happens? They found in this study with one thoracic chiropractic adjustment, interleukin-2 was increased for 2 hours after the adjustment. They took the interleukin levels post-adjustment and they looked at and they watched it, and those levels stayed elevated for 2 hours after the adjustment. Okay, your body makes about $40,000 worth of interleukin every single day. So how much is a chiropractic adjustment worth? How much is a chiropractic adjustment worth? $40,000. Yeah, at least that. I wasn't going there, but it's priceless, right? You can't put a value on that. You can't put a value on that. So again, what should you do? Cough, sniffle, sneeze, flu. What about cancer? What about cancer? Right? Is the flu or cancer or any of these things really much different? No, it's your body's in a weakened state. Again, we don't use chiropractic to cure cancer, but you look at these things as a weakened condition of the body. And then holistically, you say to yourself, what can I do to make my body stronger so that the bacteria don't find it a hospitable environment, so that cancer doesn't find it a hospitable environment? If you want to heal up from cancer, you make your body an inhospitable environment for cancer. The conditions that are ripe for cancers to grow: sugar, toxins, prescription drugs, medication, chemotherapy, radiation. That's what feeds cancer, right? Yeah. So if we keep doing that, why should we expect anything else? But if we want to heal up from cancer and bacteria and viruses and all that stuff, that can't be in the picture. That's not a recipe for health. I know it's not easy, but again, I'm not watering it down, guys. You need to learn. You need to learn, you need to be strong so that you can stand and have intelligent conversations with your doctors. So what can interfere with your nervous system? Something called subluxation. What's it called? Subluxation. It's just a big fancy word for any bones that are out of alignment in your spine, interfering with the way the brain communicates with the body. If you have it in your neck or your mid-back, it's going to shut down your immune system. And that could be why you're having frequent colds and flus and stuff like that. Some of you guys are in here, and that's why you've been getting adjusted. And you found that it works really well, right? Right? And so some of you guys, maybe you're guests here, I don't know, maybe you have different symptoms. Maybe you got constipation, frequent urination, menstrual, painful irregular periods, heart problems, chest pains, shortness of breath. For every symptom that a person has where they have illness, there's a place of the spine that it can be traced back to. It's no different than a circuit breaker. And if you haven't checked your spine, your loved ones, your friends, family, if they haven't had that checked, they haven't checked everything. They haven't turned over every card in the deck. So how do we do that? How do we know if there is in fact subluxation in a person's spine? Remember, the absence of symptoms doesn't mean that you're healthy, right? Can you have subluxation? Can you have pressure on that nerve without any symptoms? Yes, because only 6% of the nerves feel pain. Only 6% of the nerves feel pain. Most of those nerves are not pain sensitive. So you don't know when you're subluxated. Only if it's really been there for a while and there's inflammation and tenderness and spasm, then you know. But if you don't have any symptoms, really the only way to know is to have an examination. With thermography, that's one way to detect. If we roll a thermal scan along your spine and we see colors out of whack from one side to the other, that could point to something. That could point to a problem. Sometimes we take x-rays and we overlay that with the scan. And if the scan shows us problems in these areas and the x-ray shows the problems in the same areas, we've definitively diagnosed that you have subluxation. And you can find out if that's what's causing your problem. But we start with the scans. This is NASA space technology. Normal scan on the right, abnormal scan on the left. And again, it could really uncover where a lot of the health problems are coming from, or it can uncover potential serious health consequences that are coming down the line. But if you undergo a preventative examination, it could prevent that from all of that happening. So how many of you guys go for preventative dental checkups or annual physicals and stuff like that. Yeah. Having your spine checked on a regular basis should be the same exact thing. And that's why many of you guys are here, and that's why many of you have brought the guests. So what I want to tell you is, for those of you who are guests here, if you have a chiropractor, make sure that you're going regularly. If you're just going when you're hurt, that's not ideal. You should be going on a regular basis, just like a dentist checks you regularly before you have cavities. If you haven't had your spine checked in a long time, I won't let you leave without giving you an opportunity to do that. On behalf of the person who brought you in tonight, normally the exam, the consultation, the x-rays, everything that we do, the thermography, that's normally upwards of $300. But on a night like this, when we have a special event, we do that for only $47. Very rarely do we include the x-rays and the time that I spend to study them and report them. There's a lot of time that goes into that. So if you're a guest here and you're serious about your health, I'm happy to spend the time with you doing that. If you'd like to make an appointment. Deborah, can you raise your hand over there? Please see Deborah and make an appointment with her. And I want you to know that this isn't for me. This is for you. It's your health. This is a gift for you. And it's also a gift to our mission to Haiti. 100% of that $47 goes to our mission to Haiti. And that's something that's been near and dear to my heart, where we've been instrumental in rebuilding the village that was destroyed from the earthquake back in 2010. And we still help clothe and feed and educate a lot of the students there and the people there. So you're being a blessing also by participating in that. I'm not saying that so that you make the appointment just to make the donation. Please, again, only make the appointment if you're serious about your health and you want to take the time to do this. If you want to make a donation and not have your spine checked, that's fine also. But just be clear about that with Deborah. And the last thing is also the offer is only valid for tonight. So we have vouchers there for you. And if you have any family members that you think need this also, and you're curious about them or friends, ask Deborah. She may be able to help you with that as well. All right, so make sure that you don't leave without a what? Poinsettia. Poinsettia, the TV. Yeah. That's Joy and Chris. They won't need a reminder for that. And make sure you don't leave without your poinsettias. We have limited supplies, as I said, with nutritional resources. And don't forget next month's event. It's going to be in 2019, I promise. Thank you very much for that reminder. And that's it. Guys, hey, thanks for a great year. Thank you for being so gracious to us, giving us the opportunity to take care of you. I want you to know how much we love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming tonight. God bless you guys.